Hi everyone, my name is Daniel from Dance of Gamers, and we are back yet again with another product we are going to look at. And today what I have is a huge one. Now this is a big one from Nanlite, and I'm not going to waste any time. Let's get this box out of the way and see what's inside. Today we are looking at something from Nanlite, and that is that's the PavoTube II 15C. So there are two lights inside here. So the 15C is the 2 feet one, but there's also the 30C, which is a 4 feet. So let's open this bag, which is really nice and premium. The zippers are on one end, and I will roll them up like this. Okay, that's some packaging. So this is what we get from the bag: 3 rows. So this, I feel these are the lights, and then these should be the accessories. Let's see, these are the lights, and in here are the accessories. So let's remove these babies out and look at them. This is how long the light is, and it's 2 feet, and looks good. Really looks good. It looks premium. Okay, those are the 2 lights, and then the accessories. Let's get everything out and then look at them after. Okay, nothing is left in the bag. Let me get the bag out of the way. So we have our 2 lights. These are the ones. Okay, I'll put those aside. 2 adapters, 2 cables, like power cables, and these are the UK plugs. The 2 metal or steel wires that are used to hang these things up, or they give you a set of 2. These are 4. That means that you can either use them on both ends or just on one side. The 2 clamps, 1 for each. Let's just look at one light for now. I'll put this right here. So the first light, let's look at the few features that it has, like from its outside. So like we said, this is the 15C 2 feet, and it's branded all over Nanlite. It has a battery capacity of 14.8 volts and 2200 mAh. That's the battery capacity. The input voltage is 15 volts and 2 amps. Fast charging, it supports fast charging, and that's a DP of 3.5 with a range of 20 watts minimum at a temperature of 45 degrees. So that's mostly what would be important from the branding on the light itself. It has, from this side, we have the branding of Nanlite, and still at the back, then right here, and then on this end, we have a few more buttons. Let's look at some of the features that this light right here has. Okay, so unlike the previous one, this one has a better diffusion, because the one before, you could actually see the LED lights inside this light, but this one has a heavier diffusion, so the light is well dispersed, and also you cannot actually look inside it. Like, it's plastic glass, it's not exactly transparent that you can see the actual LEDs inside, which is a plus. So from one end, it has 2 knobs that control the effects and also the adjustment of the functions and the effects. I hope you can see that. It has a power switch, which is a shift, instead of the one that was a normal one where you press. So since these things are rechargeable, you could easily, because it had that normal flip where you just press and then it goes one side, and those sometimes it could switch itself on, maybe when you've packaged it in a bag with so many items inside. And this is a great improvement because this has a lock mechanism. I switched on the light, it has a lock mechanism. I've forgotten how they call this kind of switch, but this kind that you just move on either side, and it doesn't have to sleep by itself to switch on, thereby draining the battery. Let's say you're going to a set and you had charged it, and then You reach there, the battery has been drained because it turned itself on. Now that has been improved with this version. So I'm going to switch on the light. When you switch on, it has an LED screen that displays all the functions that you would use the light for. So one end has the knobs that you can press them inside, but also you can just adjust them. So with this, I can switch on. When you switch on, it flashes with the Nanlite logo, which only lasts about 2 seconds before it goes in. Now, the first button that I have here is the 2 buttons that I'm looking at. Let me dim it a bit. The 2 buttons that I'm looking at here are the mode button and the lock button. Now, the mode button allows you to switch between the different functions. Like the CCT. When we look at the CCT, it allows you to adjust the Kelvin range. Now, this light has a Kelvin range of 2700 to 7500. That means that with the CCT mode, you can actually adjust and fine-tune this light to match the lighting in the environment. Whether it's daylight, you can adjust it with the big range that it has, just so it can fit the lighting, the kind of lighting that you have on set. Now, you can crank it up to the warm and all the way down to the daylight. I do not want to flash this thing at you, so I've set the dimness to 12%. Let me face it down and try to increase it. So now the 2 knobs do different functions. The first one under here, so when I move it, it adjusts between the different parts. Then this one will adjust the part that I've selected. So I've moved it to the dimness. Now I'm going to crank it up a bit, not a bit. Let me, now this is at maximum. Believe me, this thing is super strong. Let me pull it back down because I feel it was affecting my eyes. And then if I move it down, then I can adjust the temperature to any level that I want. The other mode would be HSI. And still, with it, you can adjust the brightness or the dimness, and then you can also adjust the hue. Here you can go through the different colors. I'm not sure they are really visible in the light. Maybe I can flash them on myself. Then it will go through the different colors as you move the hue knob. Then also the other last part, it has the saturation, which moves up from 100 all the way down to 0. So if I got my hue, let's say if I moved it maybe to the purples or pink, then I can either make it more saturated or I can dilute it up. I'm not sure you are able to see this, how strong this light is in the camera because I'm turning on. There's so many lights around me. But let's go through the other modes. So that was the HSI. So I could go to the next one, which is the effects. Now the effects, unlike the previous one, now this one has been upgraded with 15 effects. Now these are practical effects that will give you the different vibes close to reality, like the police one, like the thunderstorms. Let's go through a few and then we see. This would be the welding. This is the hue loop. So this goes through the different colors and you would set, now I've set the dimness to the lowest possible. It's actually at 10%. This is the CCT loop, the int loop. There's so many in here. There's the hue flash. Now this flashes as it switches different colors. The pause, the hue pause, the storm. Now storm, the one that I have right now is on auto. So it will give you those storm lights. So in case you're creating something cinematic like some waves on in the ocean, this thing would pull out the actual effects that you would need. And this is the auto one. Okay, and there are more functions. Okay, there's an arrow down that you would have control over the effect that you've selected. Let me go back up. So the storm, this is the police car. You can change how much you would want to show with this. I mean, how fast you would want it to flash. TV, I think, gives you that weird static that the TV would give off, like those old TVs. And this the paparazzi candle fire. Okay, so with this I could go down and adjust the temperature that I would want on this. maybe I really want it in a warm way so that it emulates an actual candlelight. And so many other effects. Like I've told you, they've included 15 effects in this light. We'll go to the next mode, which is the menu. Now, this allows you to set the channels. Also, the menu allows you to do the reset of the light. Let me see the other functions it has. The DMX, which we've not yet looked at. There's so many DMX settings here. The wireless, the language, then the firmware update. There's so many things that you would look at here. I'm sorry I'm not able to show you these things, but the screen is super tiny. So now from this end, it allows you to have more connections. Should I switch it off? I'm going to switch it off for now. This end, we have the DMX and also power port, which is the DC plug, and it is 15 volts. Now, this is where this adapter that they included, remember they included 2 adapters for 2 different lights. So this adapter, and they really gave it a very long wire, which is a good one. So you would, in case, remember this thing has battery. So you might want to do a short recording because its battery, remember its battery runs up to 2 hours depending on the intensity of the light that you're using. So in case you would want to do long shoots or you would want to use the light for longer, it makes sense when you have a cable that's this long, and they give you also this one that's about, this is long enough. Let me see, this is about 3 meters. So 3 meters in addition, in total it would be 5 meters. So you would set your light up and then plug it in power so that its connection is constant. So at the bottom here, you have the AC adapter and then the DMX connector. I think that's all on this side. On this side, we looked at the 2 options that were there, the mode and then the lock button. Now the lock button allows you to set all your settings up and then lock them in. So no one would by mistake tap the settings and adjust them. So you would, it would help you take care of the accidental changes that you might not need on your set when you've set up your light. This thing, like we've seen, it allows the connection of the DC power, which is 15 volts, but it also allows you to use the Type-C connection. So in case you have lost maybe the power adapter, or where you've gone you don't have, you didn't carry it, you can easily use a Type-C charger to charge this thing up or even to power it up. Now this light, the best bit about it is the ability for you to connect it to your phone via Bluetooth. Now, if you have the Nanlite app, you can easily control this light and have full control of the circulation, the kinds of colors that you want without having to go and physically adjust them. We shall be looking at some of the functions that you would be able to adjust using the phone shortly, but it also gives you the ability to use the DMX, the RMD ports, so you can have full control over your lighting system on set. Now this light is 42% brighter than its predecessor. And like we said, it has a Kelvin range of 2700 to 7500. So you can easily crank it down to the warm light and way up to the daylight that you would want. Now, when it comes to mounting, this thing has been made in a very, very versatile way with the clamps that they've included. With this, you can have your light and then lock it in like this, so you can plug it anywhere and it cannot move. It is super tight that it will stay in place, so you can easily mount it up like a use it as a practical light or even as a headlight in all circumstances. You can actually buy the stand accessories which are sold separately, but these are so useful. You can use magnets to mount it anywhere as you would want. Now, when it comes to the metal slings, whose names that I forgot, now these, in addition to this, there could be cases where you would want to just hang. Okay, get you off. There could be cases where you would just want to hang this thing, maybe to a ceiling, all depending on, I don't know if you're seeing this. I'm trying to put it in here, okay? And then, did I do it right? Yes. So if I locked it in, so with this, I can maybe hang it somewhere, and then it would be hanging like this. And since they give you two, you can actually put them on either side and then hang it however you might want in any situation that you might have. These things are super strong and they look durable. This is how it looks after I've locked it in. So it has the 2.4G connection. So let's go into the Nanlite app, which I've already downloaded on my phone, and see how to connect it to the light and the different functions we can be able to control using our phone. From the phone, I'll launch the Nanlite app. Obviously, the first thing is to create a scene. I'll create a scene and call it studio. And then after the scene is created, let me switch on the light. Okay, the light is on. So this the scene has been created, which is a studio for our case. And then I'll go ahead and open it and then tap the plus button. And remember, this light also has the 2.4G connection, which can be easily used with the DMX. And but for this case, we're going to be using Bluetooth. So I'll go ahead and tap Bluetooth. I'll let it scan, and automatically it's going to show me that there's a PavoLite Tube II 15C. So I'll tap it and then click done. So it will go in, and it has adjusted this to a white light. Here I can tap the light and I will have the same controls that I had on the light before. Luckily, since the screen was so small, here we can see. So here we can control how dim and how bright. I don't know whether it makes sense me showing this thing. Actually, I can face it to me so you can see it from me. So I can dim it way down to 0 and move it like from 1%. Now, most of the lights move from tens, like from 0 to 10 to 20, but this one moves through all the percentages. So 1%, 2%, all the way up to 100. Now see how bright this thing is. I do not even want to look down. Let me first lower it. And then the temperature, like we saw, it moves from 2700 K, which is Kelvin, and all the way up to 7500. I'll bring it down to this, which I think might be the daylight, and also reduce the brightness so that I'm not too bright. Now the GM, I'm not exactly sure, but according to what I see here, it deals with more with the weight balance. When you crank it, this is the Mangueta. I've forgotten that name, but this allows you to crank these settings up so that it matches the actual set that you have, whether you are shooting with daylight or with your artificial lights. So that's it with the city mode. So when I click on modes again, then I can move into the HSI. Still, I can reduce the dimness. And with this, I can just tap any color that I want, and then it will show up. I'm going to use this. So they added this feature. I don't know whether you saw it. Now this camera here, when I tap it, I can point to a particular color that I might want. And then the light will adjust to that color. So it switches to the color that you pointed at. I want to find, give me a sec. Let me find something. I couldn't find much, but I have found some waves. These are orange, I think. So using this, I can turn on the camera and then set a color, take a shot, and then set done. And the light is going to automatically, I don't know if you can see that. Let me point it down. The light is going to, and also increase the brightness so you can see, at least you can see with my face. Now, because this thing is orange, when I pointed to it, it switched to the color that this thing has. So if you want to switch to a particular color, but you don't know, like that color picker that we always use in the computer, now this is the same thing that this thing has. So I will go ahead and switch to this marker that is red. I don't know if you can see it, this right here. which is red. So I'm going to use that and then set done. So it is going to automatically switch to the color that we've chosen. So that's a feature that I've liked about this light. The other one is where you can also adjust the saturation of the hue. I can adjust the hue. Let me increase the brightness so you can see more of it. I can play with the hue and also the circulation of the light. That's with the HSI mode. So I can go to the effects mode. And with the effects, we looked at so many that we have. Remember, we have 15 effects. So right now what I have is the hue loop. And you can actually change the speeds that you would want those effects to move. So I've cranked it up to, let me see. I changed the speed to 30 seconds and I can pull it down to 2 seconds, which is the minimum. So it can be switching fast or slower according to what I've set. So if I go ahead and just switch the temperature, the effects. So we have so many here. The flash, we understood what the flash does. And you can also adjust its settings depending on how much you would want the effect. The pause, so that is more like a breathing. What can I change? Let me adjust that so you can be able to see it in my camera. You can also increase how like the pause in minutes. So it says pause per minute. So I can crank it up to 240 and put it down to just 1. 1 is like super slow. If we move on, we can look at the storm. And for the storm, we understood how it is. So it is those lightning effects that you would get in an actual storm. And you can also adjust the ranges that it has. So the next effect that I would look at is the police car. And exactly like we'd expect the police car, I would reduce the speed to either be slow or make it as fast as possible. So, and there's so many other features. You can choose the different colors, blue and white. You can choose just blue alone. You can choose blue and red, or you can just go ahead and choose blue, red, and white. So you can say that the modes, which is the single, you have the triple, or the double, or the quad, which now this is about the intensity and how you would want the effect to appear. The TV mode, we talked about it. So these are there's so many modes. This is the paparazzi. So we've looked at the effects. So I can go to the presets. Now the presets, you can create your own presets, which the light will remember or the app will remember. And then you can just click them so that you don't have to all the time go through setting. I think that's it with the light. So with the second one still, I would just add it to the same studio, the same scene that I've created, which is studio. So I could, let me first switch this thing off. So I could easily just switch on the second light and then scan it via Bluetooth and then connect it to my scene. So here it shows that it's disconnected because I've switched it off. Wow. So that was the Pav light that we looked at. And there's so many cases that you could use this thing for. This thing is not as cheap as the common lights that we've seen on market, and yet it is super worth its money. Like it's a product that I would recommend in case you want to up your game. If you're a videographer, if you have a studio, if you want, you do cinematography. Now this is a light that has many different use cases. You could use it as a practical light, you could use it as a headlight, you could use it for many forms that you might want to upgrade your lighting with. With the mountings that they have, you're not limited to how you would want to mount it up. You can use magnets and then just stick them to the walls. You can use the mounts and then have it overhead. You can use the accessory. Yeah, so the company releases the accessories like the grid that would control the light from spreading out. There's also the mount. There are so many accessories that you can add to this light and have the best experience out of it. Now, this is a light that I would recommend for anyone who can afford it or anyone who would want to upgrade their their recording. So if you're someone who would love to upgrade your lighting system, the Nanlite PavoTube 15C is something that I would recommend to start with, and then you can later upgrade to the 30C. If you want to use it in your studio, yeah, it is a thing that would work for you. If you want to use it in your videography, like music videos, if you want to use it in cinemas, create modes for different scenes, it's a thing that would work for you. Or if you're somebody who just wants to buy something your kids could use as a Star Wars toy, yes, you could choose to buy this light and it will do great for you. So I think that's it. That's it for now with the video. And if you found it any useful, please don't forget to click the subscribe button and like and the bell button and everything down there. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.